Hey beautiful souls, how you doing? It's Jeannie here, sipping my afternoon coffee. Now I don't always have an afternoon coffee, but today I was feeling a little bit fatigued. And as I'm sitting here sipping it, I'm thinking to myself, okay Gina, is this physical fatigue, like I didn't have enough sleep? Is this emotional fatigue, like there's a lot on my mind? Or is this just accumulation of spiritual fatigue, which I've been experiencing for the past little while? And then of course my mind starts running about spiritual fatigue, and next thing you know, I'm making a video, welcome to my world. So I want to frame this conversation about spiritual fatigue and some of the language that we use around it, and perhaps how we can reframe our spiritual experience so it feels less like work and less exhausting. Let me take you back a couple of years. I decided to join a running program. I figured that I had tried every kind of exercise out there and I was still searching for the thing. And my best friend's a marathoner. I thought, well, I can do this. It was 9 months of a commitment, but it was a huge commitment. So you run 3 days a week with a group. You're supposed to run 2 or 3 days on your own, and then you get a day of rest. Now, I live in Canada, so that means running through snowstorms, hail, sleet, freezing rain, and hot, humid summer days. And yes, it does get really hot in Canada. And it was brutal. It was brutal for me. I mean, I really struggled with it and I persevered. And this isn't knocking running because I know a lot of people who love it, but it wasn't a huge match for me. My body was breaking down. I was exhausted, but I persevered. And so what I would do is I'd be on my run. And it started off like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then it was like 45, an hour and a half. And I remember thinking, just get to the end, just get to the end, just get to the end. And I would get to the end, and for a moment, I'd feel elated. I'd feel really, really good about myself. And then what would happen is I'd wake up the next morning and I'd feel this sense of dread because I had to do it all over again, like no. And so I want to equate this to my experience with spiritual fatigue. You know, for so many of us, we get to a point where we suddenly recognize, oh my gosh, I'm in a meat suit on this earthly plane having a spiritual experience. And so when we wake up to that fact and all these lights come on, we start to create on our spiritual journey this kind of checklist of what a spiritual person does. Maybe you started to meditate or read spiritual books or make a gratitude journal or start yoga or listen to podcasts or whatever you decided being on a spiritual journey means, forgiving people. And so we kind of make this mental checklist of what it means to be on a journey. But when you think about even the word spiritual journey, the implication is that it's an A to Z process. It's like a marathon. Like the gun goes off at the starting line, right? We're like, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm learning more. I'm having more self-awareness. I'm doing it. But it's like we have to get to that place. We have to arrive. And almost every single time I post something on Facebook and you guys comment, there's somebody who comments that says something like, I'm working on it. I'm trying. It's so hard. Baby steps. I'm not there yet. I'm going to recommit. Oh, it's so tiring. I'm exhausted. This idea that we're like putting so much effort into this spiritual journey to get to that place over there where we bust through the ribbon at the end of the marathon and we're like, yes, enlightenment, baby, I've arrived. But it's laughable because that's really not the intention of the spiritual journey. It's not to transform you into this other person at the end of your life. At the end of this treacherous marathon. It's not supposed to feel exhausting and painful and difficult. I want to reframe that experience for you and share with you how I've chosen to look at my spiritual experience. Instead of looking at it as a marathon that's exhaustive, I've chosen to look at it as a merry-go-round. And so if you can imagine a merry-go-round goes around and around and around. And it's symbolic of the universe or God or, spirit kind of taking care of the mechanics. So where you're running a marathon or on a spiritual journey and you feel like you've got to muscle and you've got to put all this effort in, when you're on a merry-go-round, all of that's taken care of. And that's where real surrender comes in, because all you really have to do is pick your animal, whether it's a horse, a unicorn, a zebra, a lion, pick which animal you want to sit on for the ride. And surrender to the process and allow the universe to bring you the people, the opportunities, the circumstances to grow you closer to yourself, to bring you closer to yourself. So it's not exhausting, right? The merry-go-round's doing all the hard work for you. what you have to do is just sit there in your awareness of it. Now, if you imagine a merry-go-round, it goes in circles, right? Now, how many of you have said to yourself on your journey, oh my gosh, I thought I figured this lesson out already. I thought I dealt with forgiveness. I thought I learned about boundaries. Why am I learning this again? Why is this coming up again in my life? I thought I got the self-love thing. Well, it's because a spiritual journey is really about taking you back to the same life lessons in a deeper space with a different mindset, right? You're in a different headspace, and so you can go deeper and deeper into your spiritual experience. So that's why the merry-go-round is really symbolic of us going around and around and coming back to experiences to enrich our growth and connect us deeper to ourselves. And so in this space, it doesn't feel exhausting. We can rest easy knowing everything's being taken care of by the universe. You know, all the people, all the experiences, all the opportunities, it's going to take us there on this journey. And all we have to do is sit in the awareness of where we're going. And that way, we're not going to need like 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day. It won't feel so exhausting, and the experience can really bring us an ignition, an aliveness into our life instead. That's what I'm hoping for you. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback below, and you know I love you. Bye for now.